ghost. There's a Sheffield ghost. I was reading about a fantastic former musical comedian who called himself Stainless Stephen. He was obsessed with Sheffield still. I thought he was brilliant. I don't know if he's a real ghost or not, but I thought he deserved a poem. So this is for him. The poem's called A Mild for Stainless Stephen. He haunts the chippies mostly, nodding his approval at the puns. Posh place, Pisces, in cod we trust. He's dressed up to the nines in stainless shoes, a plated vest, 2 spoons for a bow tie, a fork to comb his sleek black hair. He says, I'm aimless, brainless, stainless Stephen, semicolon, semi-conscious, ordering my chips full stop. And when the shop lads shove him out into the cold, he knows a pub across the river where the doors will never shut, a skeleton between the empty works, where brambles twine around the pumps, and every glass is laced with spider webs, where men stride in still sweating from the braziers that vanished 30 years ago, and tug their collars, loosening the noose of heat. The jukebox hasn't changed its tune since 71. The landlord stands a statue at the bar, as Stainless saunters in and tips his silver hat, surveys his audience, the roughed up chairs, the yawning window panes, the shabby walls that echo back his jokes as if they know each one by heart. Semi-quaver, semi-frantic, Stainless croons the golden oldies, sing-alongs to sway to, here in Sheffield, where they drink till dawn and beg for encores. Understand there's no such thing as time. I'll just do one more poem from the ghost sequence. I'm hoping to tour the show around various warehouses, pubs and other derelict places in the UK next year. You won't remember it, so there's not much point in saying, but I'm keeping a blog for the sort of development of the show at the moment, which is www.apintfortheghost.blogspot.com. You'd have to have an encyclopedic memory to remember that. So this poem is set in some caverns in Castleton in Derbyshire, fondly known by locals as the Devil's Arse. And it's about a young Oxford caver who unfortunately came to grief there in the 50s. He was trying to explore a new sort of part of the caverns, and he got trapped and couldn't be reached. I read this poem in Sheffield, and there was a woman in the audience whose husband had been part of the rescue party as a 14-year-old, which is incredible. The most chilling thing about the episode to me was that this lad's rescuers could hear him calling, and he could hear them, but they couldn't find him. So this is a poem for his ghost, and it's called Full Measure for Neil Moss. Who spoke it first? The old lie that the dead don't answer back. Each time I step over a storm drain or a crack, I hear him call. The Oxford caver who they lost in '59 and couldn't reach. Down in the fissured depths of Castleton, though searching in the dark, they heard his cries as clear as he heard theirs. From gaps and passageways, I hear him call to me. The way some nights we swear we hear our own names spoken, though there's no one there, and turn in quiet avenues or terraces to nothing but the ululation of the wind, the thin soprano of a cat at someone else's door. What peace for those who wait unreached below the ground. Their voices seep into our guarded light, through late-night cafe chains and spotlit bars, through all the bright places we go to shake them off, to drain our glasses dry, pretend we're deaf to them. Tonight, from Castleton, from Carsington, they call to us. From reservoirs and mine shafts long since shut, from bricked-up wells and tunnel mouths. Tonight they cast their voices out like pit canaries, certain that this time the sound will be returned, certain that it won't be long till we come back to them. Thank you. I'll finish with a poem about leaving that I've just written. I've got asked to write a poem about a theatre opening, and I thought, oh blimey, what on earth can you write about that? So I started thinking of that brilliant Shakespeare about leaving pursued by a bear. I thought, exits from the stage. That's the one. I thought exits are actually quite an interesting thing to write about. And this is inspired by that brilliant Don Patterson line, there are more ways to leave the room than the door and the window. And it's called How to Leave the Stage. Dive through a letterbox, burn your farewell note, ascend the hero's leg, jump down the villain's throat, slip underneath a doormat with a long discarded post, or hitch your way out to the lonely coast. Set down your wine bottle, then vanish down its neck, or shimmy through the floorboards of an old shipwreck. Wear only black, adopt a different name, travel in the pocket of your oldest flame, disguise yourself as someone who you haven't met, retrace old routes you swore that you'd forget, vanish through the holes in a white string vest, or ride the sun as it slinks down into the west. And should you ever feel the urge to stay, be quick and deft. Discard your promises, stage right, your heart stage left. Thanks very much.